Now it's the time for a special segment, that's the Tech Tuesday, wherein today we are going to discuss about tablets, and here the comparison lies between iPads and Android tablets. Which one is actually a better option for you, and apart from that, what are the strengths and weaknesses of both of them, and going forward in the short term, which are the new launches that are expected in this particular space? We'll try to find all of these answers with Mr. Dhruv Bhutani, who is the editor at Android Authority. Thank you so much, Dhruv, for joining us again at ET Now. Firstly, when we are talking about tablets, there are two wider options that are available, whether we go for Android one or rather we go for the iPad. But the trend is somewhat, as per my experience, says that the people are a little bit more interested in iPads. So why do you think that people are going for iPads versus the Android ones?
Yeah. So the answer for that is both simple and a little complicated. I think Apple has just had a more cohesive strategy with their tablets. Unlike the Android ecosystem, they have one single product to support and target. And because of that, the developer ecosystem has also flourished. So you get arguably better quality of apps, better variety of apps. And and that's something that Apple is really focused on. There's also the broader ecosystem aspect of it. For example, iPhones and iPads speak very well to each other. Say you're out and about and you need, and you obviously don't have Wi-Fi connectivity. Your iPad will automatically pick up, offer to pick up, the hotspot from your iPhone. And these little things add up over time, and they just create a better experience for the user, especially if they're already bought into the iOS and even the broader Apple ecosystem of products. Um, and of course, since this is just one target platform for Apple, they've been able to offer better software support. So you can have iPads which are maybe 5 years old and are still getting updates. And Apple also provides a whole lot of power in these tablets. So, for years to come, the tablets stay up to date on the latest software, but also support all the latest applications. And all of these things come together to create a very premium experience. And that's something that Apple has really focused on over the last few years, making the iPad a very good sell for most customers who are looking for a tablet.
Okay, Dhruv, but this was the pros of having an iPad. But let's talk about the other part, that is the Android version. Because how do you feel that it is still being used in specific segments? Because people do use for the mass category, they are still into Android tablets, and new launches are happening over them. From the cost perspective, how do you feel? Where are they placed in comparison to the iPads, and what are the specifications that these new launches are really coming up with?
So here's the thing. I mean, nowhere is it as well represented as in the case of tablets, that the diversity that Android can offer. You do have Android tablets that compete both in price point and capabilities with the iPad. But then you have tablets which are 10,000 rupees, 12,000 rupees. Somebody who just wants a tablet for browsing the internet, somebody who just wants a big screen for watching Netflix. He or she does not need to spend 60, 70, 80,000 rupees on a tablet. A 15,000 rupee tablet with a good quality display is more than enough for that kind of a user. And that's the kind of diversity that Android affords, and enables, for that matter. And that's why you're going to see, between 10 to 20,000 rupees, there are quite a few options. You can also look northwards, and then you have something like the Samsung Galaxy Tab series, the S8, for example, which is a top of the line tablet. You have an OLED screen, you have all the bells and whistles, including stylus support for pens. In fact, if you're using a Windows computer, it offers great integration with that. Samsung's also built some very unique features which you don't even get on iPads. For example, Dex mode. So you can use your tablet computer basically like a laptop, and you can even connect it to your to a monitor and make a computer out of it. So it really comes down to what your requirements are from a tablet. whereas Apple focuses more on the premium side of things and forces the user to move and gravitate towards the more premium end of tablets. And it does that very well for sure. The beauty of Android is that it gives a whole lot of options to customers, so that they don't need to spend a whole lot of money to meet their requirements. And that's pretty much the reason why Android tablets, even though they're not as popular in mindshare as iPads, they still continue to sell pretty well.
Absolutely, Dhruv. I really agree on this point because some of the kids that I have in my family during this pandemic, when schooling
Mhm.
really got digital, they were asked to, and they actually went ahead and bought all of these tablet, and they were Android tablets. I think that's also boosting the sales for them. But if you
Right.
can help our viewers in the recent and in the near term, which are the new
Mhm.
launches that are lined up ahead, be it for the Android category or it from the iPad?
Mhm.
What's there in the store?
So, Apple has these two categories, the iPad Air and they've got the iPad Pro. And I've been using the recently launched iPad Air for a little bit now. And I truly believe that that's the best bang for your buck, the most value for money tablet that Apple makes. Uh, sure, there are some benefits to going to the Pro, but then you're touching a lakh rupees for a tablet. The iPad Air gets you 90% of the experience for quite a bit less money, starts at around 70,000 or so, and is compatible with the entire ecosystem of accessories, including the pen and the keyboard. And I think if you want to buy a new iPad, the iPad Air is the best spot to be in. But if you start looking at the Android ecosystem, that's where things get interesting. In the premium side, Samsung is pretty much the only one that you should be looking at. And that's more to do not just with the hardware, but also the software. Because Google on its own hasn't really done all that much to create something special for tablets. But Samsung has built on top of the Android ecosystem, on top of base Android, and created a beautiful software ecosystem for its products. Like the features that I talked about earlier, Dex mode, and a full-fledged tablet optimized interface. So Samsung is the one that you should be looking out for. But when you start looking at the budget segment or even the mid-range segment, that's where things get interesting. So this week, Xiaomi is about to launch its tablet in India. It's the Xiaomi Pad 5. And Xiaomi was in the tablet space in India quite a few years back, and they're making a comeback. And all expectations are that it's going to be, a perfect mid-range option with a good balance of specifications and a software experience. So that's one that is definitely going to be one to look out for. On the entry level side, things are a little more ho hum. The idea is more about content consumption than productivity, and so you're not going to get all that much power. But if all you're looking for is a big display, a good quality display, and just enough power to browse the internet or play a few lightweight games, then Realme and even Nokia has a few options. The Realme Pad is a pretty decent option. You can even get it with cellular connectivity, starts at about 15,000 rupees. And this week, Realme is about to launch an even smaller version of it. So if you want something to take about on your daily commute, but something that's a little larger than your phone, with about an 8-inch screen, 8.7-inch screen, the Realme Pad Mini might be one to look out for, but we don't know the pricing for that yet, and that's going to be the key criteria.
Look out for all those options, Ru. But here's my last question to you. You highlighted quite a
Hmm.
few names in the last answer. But if I were to ask
Right.
you which are your three picks, and in one liner, if you can help our viewers, why are you choosing those? What will be there?
Okay, very interesting question and a tough one at that. So in the entry level segment, see, there's not that much of diversification. The specs are pretty much the same. So is the experience. So I would probably go for the Realme Pad just because of decent after sales support, which is important. For example, if you're giving the tablet to your child and the child breaks the tablet, uh, 10, 15,000 rupees, you'd probably want to get it fixed sooner rather than later instead of getting a new tablet. Mid-range segment is one where there has not been that many options. And I mean, so far the Mi Pad, the upcoming Mi Pad, is the one that is looking very interesting. So that's the one that I would recommend most users to, or potential buyers, to look out for once it gets released later this week, because there's not that many Android options in that price category. But if you're going high end, um, I write for Android Authority and I am an Android fan. So the Tab S8 would probably be my pick, though I've got to say that I've been very impressed by the iPad Air as well. Uh, Especially the form factor and the aspect ratio. It is absolutely perfect for reading magazines, for reading books. So if your content, if your workflow is more reading oriented, the iPad is the better choice. But if you watch a lot of movies, and want more of productivity, the Samsung Tab series might be the one that is going to be a better fit for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dhruv, for highlighting all of those options and your topic for our viewers. With this, it's time to
Hmm.
wrap this discussion. Thank you for all the time to ET Now today.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.